I'm shocked.
Welcome back, Crackle Addicts. I'm Lupine Fiasco. This is Daily FaB Gameplay, and today we are playing Aurora Shooting Star. For anyone who is new to the channel, what we do here is review replays of games I played on the Talishar.net client days or weeks ago, after enough time has passed that I lose my bias and can more objectively judge the quality of my games. I will talk through turn cycles as if I were taking them now, explaining my thought processes for the lines I would take, and compare that to the lines I did take. We either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future, taking down paper events, and walking away with that shiny, shiny cardboard. If you would like to check out the deck I'm playing here or try it for yourself on Talishar, there is a FaB deck link in the video description below. While you're down there, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. It is the best free way to support me and to make sure that you see daily FaB gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. If you'd like to engage further, there is a link to my Twitter, to my Discord, and to my Patreon. Without further ado, let's jump right into the action. I won the die roll and chose to go second against Viserai, and honestly I don't know if that's true. I rematched against the same Viserai in the game after this. They won the die roll and they chose to go first. So if both players want one hero to go first, then one of those players is wrong. And checking FaB stats for the meta doesn't confirm one way or the other. It says that Aurora players win 52% of the time going first and 53% of the time going second. Basic math would tell us that that is more than 100% of games played. So I'm not sure what to trust, but historically against aggro decks, in an aggro mirror, you do want to go second. This does have setup potential, and this can push damage through either blocks or the ability to pitch to Arcane Barrier, but if this is leaking anywhere from 3 to 5 damage, and then you're cracking back with a 4-card hand and pulling cards away from Viserai on defense, then you're probably ahead. Something we want to note about this hand is that we can make an Embodiment of Lightning on Viserai's turn by playing Electromagnetic Somersault. We don't necessarily want to do that, especially if this maybe just passes the turn with an action point. We're not really interested in giving up 3 cards to make an embodiment if we then think that this could crack back with 4 cards and we block 3. But it is just something to note. Something else to note about this hand is it kind of sucks. Our best offensive line here pushes 12 damage, and that is if we play E-Strike, bottom a card for 5 go again, then somersault the E-Strike back, E-Strike bottom our last card for 7. A 4-card 12 is perfectly on rate, but probably not what we want to be doing. So this playing Mordred Tide here may give us the opportunity to pitch some cards into Arcane Barrier if there is a follow-up to the 2 Malefic incantations. I mean, what a start from this. This is not looking great. We've got a Rune Rager Swarm attacking for 2. So here, I believe the right call is to take 4 arcane damage, go to 36, block the Rune Rager Swarm with Lightning Surge or E-Strike, really doesn't matter, somersault it back, and then pitch Lightning Surge and E-Strike to make an Embodiment of Lightning and restart the turn with Snatch that has go again. Our alternate line here would be to pitch 3 resources, pitch 3 reds into stopping 3 of the arcane damage, somersault, E-Strike, Lightning Surge, and then block the Rune Rager Swarm for 2. I kind of want to hang on to the Snatch, but I do think that the line I'm ultimately going to take, which is going to be pitching Surge and E-Strike into Arcane Barrier, taking 2 Rune Chant damage, blocking the Rune Rager Swarm with Snatch, and then somersaulting the Snatch back, is like the worst line because it does just straddle between 2 different strategies. Either we should hard commit to mitigation and use our entire hand for defense because this has given us the opportunity to do so, or we should take extra damage, go to 36, but then set up embodiment. This line is just a weird cross between the two, and I think it's bad. If I was making this call now, I would much rather start my first turn of the game at 36 with a Snatch in hand and Embodiment of Lightning. And if we had the Embodiment of Lightning, then what we could do is Snatch for 4, Entwine Lightning, fuse with Current Funnel, and then probably Arsenal the Current Funnel. I'll also say that what we need to do is be aware of our life total with Reaping Blade. So currently we are at lower life than this. We can play Sigil of Solace and gain 3 life, but as soon as we put this below 38, we can no longer play Sigil of Solace. For whatever reason, I'm really bad at remembering that when I play against Vis. I'm very good at remembering when I play against Florian, but on your end, do keep in mind that if you are going to play a Sigil of Solace, you need to do it while you are at lower life total or at least equal to your opponent. Considering that we don't have Embodiment of Lightning, this is kind of an underwhelming hand. What we can do is play Entwine Lightning, fuse it with Current Funnel, pitch the Current Funnel into Grasp of the Arcanite, and then play Snatch. Remembering that as a reaction to the Entwine Lightning, we need to use Sigil of Solace, we need to play it and go up to 41. That isn't what I'm going to do. I'm going to forget to do that. But what's really unfortunate about this turn is that we cannot turn on Aurora. The only way we could turn on Aurora is by playing Current Funnel, but then we don't have a efficient way to pitch into Aurora. So this is just kind of the best line. And what is bad about this too is maybe you're thinking, well, I'm going to draw a card from the Snatch and then Arsenal the Sigil of Solace. And if we had turned on Aurora, then that is a decent line. Vis is keeping 4 cards and has 6 rune chance. He's going to put us below 31. So if we had played a Lightning card that would let us pitch this Static Shock into Aurora, we Arsenal the Sigil, and we're actually pretty happy with the turn. But just playing Sigil of Solace here gains us no life because of Reaping Blade, and is just a mistake. The hand that we draw into is also unfortunate. Kind of the story of this game so far is just unfortunate hands. This playing Deadwood Dirge is going to go up on Rune Chance, just send a ton of damage our way. And we can't really do a ton about it, just based on the cards that we've drawn in the order that we've drawn them. So our Somersault defensively is worth 2, because we can only block with Lightning Surge if we want to pick up blockers with Somersault. Lightning Press can't block, Somersault can't block. Burn Up Shock is good. It forces Vis to interact with us. I like it more for offense than I do for defense because we have this Lightning Press. So at a minimum, we could play Burn Up Shock, play Static Shock from Arsenal, press the Static Shock over the top of defense, and deal however much over defense we got, +1 from the Static Shock, +4 from the Burn Up. But then we have this Electromagnetic Somersault and Lightning Surge just chilling. The best way to use this hand offensively would be to play Burn Up Shock, pitch Somersault into Starfall for 2 go again, then play Static Shock from Arsenal and Lightning Press it. And that is, it's fine. It just kind of isn't. I want more from my deck. I'm expecting more from these hands. But it does mean that we're not going to block anything because Lightning Surge blocks for 2 and attacks for 4, and we would rather send more damage. We'd rather get more value. Same with Burn Up Shock. It blocks for 3 and quote-unquote attacks for 5. So we are just going to take all this damage, and we're just kind of sad about it, but we didn't have a better option necessarily. Same with these Rune Chants and the Rune Ranger Swarm. If we didn't pitch to AB or block the Swarming Gloom fail before, we're certainly not going to do it now. We are just going to go down to 20. and we will take not another 4. I do like putting Dyadic Carapace in front of the Rune Rager Swarm here, just to start converting armor to life. Playing against a Rune Blade means that arcane damage will kill us, and we really don't want to die with armor. We want to get that armor value early, or at least earlier than you would normally. Here we do take the Starfall line. Something to consider when we are following this up is our highest damage and best value comes from playing Static Shock from Arsenal and then Lightning Pressing it over the top of defense. But it does open us up to Face Purgatory. If we play the Static Shock and we get blocked by Face Purgatory, then we could Lightning Press over if Viserai blocks with 2/2 blocks, but then we lose our Lightning Surge, or we just discard our Lightning Press and Arsenal our Lightning Surge. It isn't a huge deal, and the fact that Vis didn't block the Starfall makes me think that Vis isn't going to block the Static Shock, but it is something to consider, that playing Static Shock here and pressing it over does not really play around Face Purgatory. This does take all the damage. We get to Arsenal a Lightning Surge, so we're feeling okay. And the hand we draw into is still kind of awkward, but at least more playable. We get to Surge from Arsenal and pitch Heaven's Claws into Aurora to make an embodiment of lightning, so we'll get to attack with both snatches. And we even have a Channel Lightning Valley that's going to draw us a card, and then we get to keep it around with the Heaven's Claws. But this plays another Mordred Tide. It's going to do a bunch of damage to us. Here we are not looking to block from hand. We will start converting some armor. We're also not going to pitch to these Rune Chants because we need our Heaven's Claws to make an embodiment of lightning. So we can block this Swarming Gloomveil with Grasp, Carapace, and Greaves. I would like to hold on to my Crown of Providence for as long as possible, just in case we need to use it. I'm not interested in doing that now, but say Viserai had succumbed to temptation and was able to snipe our blue. Well, now if the follow-up to that is Tunic Reaping Blade, I'm a lot less interested in Snatch number 2, and I would rather just filter it away and see if we can find something more useful. Again, if we didn't use our armor to stop the Swarming Gloomveil, we're not going to use it to stop the Ravenous Rabble. We are going to go down to 5. At this point, spoilers, Vis is going to Tunic Reaping Blade and then undo the action to break Vexen Quill Hand ahead of us defending. I think it's the right call. It does threaten lethal, because if we wanted to save our crown here, Reaping Blade doesn't kill us. We are going to take 3, go to 2, and then we'll put our crown and Grasp in front of the Reaping Blade, which I agree with. We stay alive at 2. A random Rune Chant doesn't kill us. And we're not going to sink to the crown. What we should do in this turn, considering Viserai's armor and the fact that Vis can't really easily cover 2 and still have both Tunic and Creepers, is I like leading with Starfall rather than Lightning Surge. And the reason I want to lead with Starfall is not going to get blocked by Face Purgatory for the full effect, and I'm expecting Vis to cash in Face Purgatory this turn. We have a 5-card hand. We're going to play a starter from Arsenal. Vis is thinking this is where we, as Aurora, are trying to pivot. So I want to attack with Starfall, see if I can bait Vis into taking the 2, so that I play Channel Lightning Valley and draw a card. I don't care what's on top of my deck. What I do care about is I have a 3rd card in my hand, so that I can discard it to Face Purgatory and still get to Embodiment of Lightning, Snatch, Snatch. Because if we lead with the Lightning Surge, which is what I do here, and we get blocked by Face Purgatory, our discard is going to be Snatch, and we still get to attack with Starfall, play Channel Lightning Valley, draw a card. I guarantee whatever I draw from the Channel Lightning Valley is not going to be as good as Snatch. I would much rather have 2 Snatches than whatever the top of my deck is. considering that I get to play both of them. We'll attack with the Starfall for 2. See if Vis wants to give us a card or armor. The answer is no, so we will draw with Channel Lightning Valley. And we draw into a burn up, and like I'm saying, I would much rather have this burn up be a snatch, because we still do the embodiment, we still attack with the snatch does still have go again. We're not playing the burn up first because we're expecting that Vis is going to block the snatch, and we don't need to give him another reason to block the snatch. We'd rather have the burn up in arsenal. And we keep Channel Lightning around. We're going to arsenal our burn up. So what's interesting about this hand is we can play burn up shock from arsenal, deal 1 point of damage to this, and draw a card with Channel Lightning Valley. And doing that just gives us more information. So what are we doing with this hand currently? We have to block the Reaping Blade or else we die. We're not going to block it with our blue or with our Arc Lightning, because we want to play the Arc Lightning and we get to pitch our blue into Grasp with the Arc Knight and Starfall. We're not going to block with Static Shock because we want an attack so that we can actually threaten the burn up effect. We could block with the burn up and just prevent 3 damage. Then we have fewer options as far as our next turn. We're going to open the turn with our burn up, draw a card, and see what our turn looks like. But it's very possible that we would rather block with whatever's on top of our deck than actually play it. So I do like playing Shock from Arsenal here, just to see what is on top of our deck, get some more information, and see if we do want to block with the card that we drew. Double Arc Lightning is really interesting. I would love to keep these 5 cards, but I can't. I need to use one of them to block the Reaping Blade. So the answer, or the question is, what are we blocking with? Arc Lightning, Heaven's Claws, Second Strike, all the same thing. All something we want to have because they work very well together. So the question is, are we blocking with second Arc Lightning and going to 1? Or are we blocking with Burn Up Shock and staying at 2? And so we have to do damage calculation to see how much damage we get from having Burn Up Shock or a second Arc Lightning. So we play our Arc Lightning, we pitch our Heaven's Claws into Grasp and then Starfall, and we play Second Strike. So in that way we have gotten 4 points of arcane damage from our first Arc Lightning. Burn Up Shock would give us a 5th point of arcane damage from the Go Again on Burn Up. It would also give us a 6th point of arcane damage from Shock. If we play our second Arc Lightning instead of the Burn Up, we still get 4 from the first one. The second one gives us 2. It also gives us additional shocks on the Heaven's Claws and the Second Strike, but we aren't threatening a Burn Up effect. So let's say that we hit with the Burn Up. How much damage are we actually threatening if we block with second Arc Lightning? Arc Lightning deals 1, Burn Up Shock brings it to 3, Heaven's Claws, pitching to Grasp, and Starfall bring it to 5. We are also threatening a 6th from the Rune Chant, 8 from the Starfall, potential 12 if the Burn Up hits, and then Second Strike attacks for 4 with Go Again. So we do a 4-card 17. If we block with Burn Up and we have 2 Arc Lightnings, we play Arc Lightning number 1, deals 1 point of damage. Arc Lightning number 2 comes in for 2 points, 1 from the first Arc Lightning, 1 from the second, for a total of 3. We pitch Heaven's Claws into Grasp, that makes 5. We attack with Starfall, that is 6 from the Rune Chant, 8 from Starfall, 10 from the Arc Lightnings. Then we play Second Strike for 4 with Go Again, makes 14, and then the 2 Arc Lightnings bring it to 16. So we get less damage from the double Arc Lightning line, but we get more guaranteed damage because Viserai can stop our burn-up effect by blocking it. The thing is, 16 damage gets a card and Spellbound Creepers from Viserai, and keeps him alive. If he has a 3 block, he just goes to 1, potentially dead to another shock or Sigil of Suffering, but does not outright kill him. The burn-up line, hitting him for 17, does take 2 actual cards from Viserai's hand. And I believe it is better to get more potential damage from the burn-up than it is to get more guaranteed damage from the second Arc Lightning. Also considering that we are going to draw a card from Channel Lightning Valley on our turn. So all of this is to say that I like blocking the Reaping Blade with Arc Lightning number 2, going to 1, and then having a 4-card 17 that only gets better if we draw any 0 for 4 off the top of our deck, especially if that 0 for 4 has Go Again. It looks like I make the same decision in the game. Yeah, so we are going to block with Arc Lightning number 2 and go down to 1. Open our turn with Arc Lightning, see what we draw from Channel Lightning Valley. Second Channel Lightning Valley is probably the worst card that we could have drawn, because it does absolutely nothing for us. We cannot get any extra damage from this arc. Well, maybe that isn't true. So let's say we pitch the Channel Lightning Valley at this point. We attack with Heaven's Claws for 3 Go Again. Viserai gives us a card from hand. We then use our floating resource, attack with Starfall for 2 Go Again. Viserai gives us a card from hand. And then we attack with Second Strike for 4 Go Again. Viserai gives us a card from hand and Spellbound Creepers. Over the course of all of this, has taken 3 damage from Heaven's Claws, Starfall, and Second Strike Go Again effects. I actually like that a lot. I like that a lot more than what I'm doing here. So we threaten a total of 9 physical damage, then 3 arcane damage to make 12. And if any of that hits, then Viserai takes another 4 from the burn up, as opposed to what we're doing now, which is still threatening our 5 from Grasp, Runechant, Starfall, and then another 5 from Second Strike Go Again. But Viserai only needs to block 2 attacks, only needs to block the Starfall and the Second Strike, as opposed to needing to block 3 attacks by covering up the Heaven's Claws. So I didn't actually see this the first, either playing the game or the first time I rewatched it. I'm seeing it for the first time now, that we should have pitched Channel Lightning to play the Heaven's Claws. That actually would have been much better than this line. Now, of course, if Heaven's Claws had just been any 0 for 4 in our deck, that's way better than what we see here. Here we're just going to pitch Arsenal Channel Lightning Valley in case we draw into Sigil of Suffering or Burn Up and we maybe want to push a little damage. Especially Sigil of Suffering would be great, but Heaven's Claws here would have been much better. Heaven's Claws would have gotten another card out of Viserai. And if we see what Viserai plays, we've got a Mordred Tide in hand, blocks 3. Deadwood Dirge from Arsenal, doesn't matter. And we've got a Hocus Pocus. So Viserai would have had the 3 blocks, but Viserai also would not have been able to put this turn together. If Viserai plays Mordred Tide and then Dirge, he can't attack. So he makes a bunch of Runechants, and then the turn comes back to us, and we win with what we have in hand, very likely. Or Viserai just plays Hocus Pocus and holds on to the Dirge. We block with Current Funnel, and then we get a real turn. Instead, we cannot prevent this from killing us. We need to pitch both of our Current Funnels into the Runechants to stay alive, and then we can't block the Hocus Pocus. So we do end up dying to this. Really interesting game to play through and rewatch, just based on how close it was. I feel like Viserai drew very well. 3 Mordred Tides in the top half of his deck, and they were all like banger Mordred Tides, is really unfortunate for us. Our draws were a little clunkier. We did see our power cards, they just didn't quite line up the way we needed them to. But this was a really good examination into how just a few small misplays can really add up over the course of the game. How we, even on turn 0, didn't make the embodiment of lightning that would have given us a much better turn 1 play. Even the Sigil of Solace that we misplayed and didn't get the 3 life out of may have come back to bite us. If we back up just a little bit, let's say that we have 4 life here. We can pitch a current funnel to prevent 3 damage. The 2 rune chants take us down to 2. We can block the Hocus Pocus with current funnel and stay alive at 2. Our turn gets a little iffier from there because we pitch Discharge to attack with Starfall. If Viserai blocks it with literally anything, then we lose the game because our Channel Lightning Valley won't connect. But let's say Viserai doesn't block it and we play Channel Lightning Valley. We take Viserai to 4, we draw a card, maybe we draw a 0 for 4 and we attack with it. Viserai blocks with a 3 block and then we press over and win the game. Hard to tell. But certainly on our last turn, I didn't even see it the first time. Huge that we didn't play the Heaven's Claws, so we only threatened 2 burn-up effects rather than threatening it 3 times. That's massively important, especially when we consider that Viserai needed all of these cards to kill us. If Viserai just Hocus Pocuses for 3, makes a Rune Chant on the back end, we block with a current funnel. Now we are in a position where we could pitch current funnel into Grasp of the Arknight, attack with Starfall, play Channel Lightning Valley, try to find a 0 for 4 off the top of our deck, or we just play Discharge, play current funnel for 5, and compress it up to 8. We would have had better options had we played a little tighter. And in a race like this, we lose on turn 5. Those small mistakes add up very quickly. They really snowball very fast. And it just goes to show that with a little tighter play, we could have easily stolen this game from a Viserai who got 5 more average value per turn than we did. So I learned a lot from watching this one back. I hope you did, or at the very least you enjoyed it. If so, be sure to lightning press that like button. My comments are always open for any questions or feedback. If you haven't already done so, consider a YouTube subscription. It's free, it helps me out a lot. I have a free Discord, I have a Twitter, I even have a Patreon if you want the sideboard guide to this deck or bonus content every week. All of those links are in the video description below. If you're playing in a Pro Quest this weekend, good luck. I will be playing in one Saturday. I'll have a report for you next week. Let me know how you do at yours. I hope you secure your invite to London, or at least some of that shiny cardboard. But no matter what happens, I will catch you next week for more daily FaB gameplay. And until then, take care.